morning, hello and welcome back to Sew What If I Sew, or welcome if you're new. I'm Jess and this is my channel all about sewing, dressmaking and all things stitch related. Now today you join me for a sew along. Now I should say I'm wearing my Great British Sewing Bee shell top, which I think is from Fashion with Fabric. I'll link it below. I've done a sew along for it, so there's definitely a video. And it's in this lovely yellow viscose crepe from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn that I bought last summer, and I actually made this in a day last summer. It's a really quick, comfy make, wear it all the time. Specifically, I'm mentioning this because today is Saturday the 20th. This weekend is the weekend of my Sew Yellow for Endo challenge, and it is like 9:30 in the morning and I am blown away. Literally, like, what? You guys are incredible. The level of response already is just fantastic. I'm loving seeing this wave of yellow garments on Instagram. You are all wonderful. Thank you so much. We keep smashing fundraising targets as well, and you guys keep going. You are amazing. I say thank you, especially for the fundraising. Thank you from all of the 1 in 10 women Endometriosis UK will be able to support with our fundraising. So thank you so much. Anyway, today we are talking about dungarees because I wanted a pair to move house in, but also I've always kind of fancied a pair, but I never would have bought them because I'm very petite, which means that in a shop I would look ridiculous. Like, the legs are too long and the waist sits too low and I wouldn't fit my boobs behind it if it did fit my waist and all that kind of stuff. So a while ago I put a call out for people to suggest good dungaree patterns, and I went with the Heydays from, at that point, made by Jack's mum, but now Waves and Wild. And I got them actually in the name change sale. So it cost me very, very little and I'm very excited. I got it printed by the pattern printing girl in A0, so here it is. I've not unwrapped it yet because the house is a mess, so I want to try and keep them in one place so I don't want to lose anything. And I'm going to be making it in this cotton twill, which is a sort of caramel colour from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, and I wanted it to be in a lightweight cotton twill so I can wear them in the summer and I can wear them on holiday. And that sort of thing, you know, I want them to be versatile. And the thing is, in the winter I'll just wear tights under them, if, you know, it doesn't bother me. Also, I'm Scottish, so I don't really get cold. So I'm really excited. I've never sewn with twill before, so I'm not sure if there's anything I need to be aware of. I'm sure the fabric will show me, but otherwise it's got a nice structure, a good weight to it. Like, it is still lightweight, but it has like I think it's going to be fine to sew. But yeah, it's really soft as well. So what I can see, first impressions, twill has a right side and a wrong side. So the right side is this one, where it's like, I don't know if you can see, it's got little lines. And then the wrong side, it's basically flat. Well, it's got lines going that way, but it's like flat and it's a lot softer, whereas this side's like noticeably ridged. So I will have to remember that when I lay the fabric out, because it's not different enough in terms of colour, it's just in terms of feel. So I will have to remember when I do that. I'm anticipating having to cut around 4 inches off the legs. So to avoid wasting fabric and having to do annoying alterations once they're made, I'm going to do what I did with my culottes and lie down on top of the pattern and measure it based on my legs. And then obviously it'll still probably, in my experience, you measure it based on your legs, it still needs about 2 inches off. But that I can hem. But it's really annoying having to cut like up to 6 inches off the bottom of trousers, because once they're made, you can't really guarantee the straight line in the same way. So definitely going to be looking at that. Now, I'm going to be making these this weekend. I must say, I'm so sorry for the state of the house in the background of this sew along. So we're moving next week and there are boxes just everywhere. I live in a box fort now. So we are moving. It's going to be great. I'm so excited, but I want to have these done by the time we move because I want to move in them. They're the ideal thing to move house in, really. So that's kind of my target. It's going to be really fun. And I'm hoping that by making something, it will make the house moving process a little bit less stressful or hanging over me less, because I'm making something for it and it's exciting and I'll have something to focus on. So that is the plan. I'll be honest, I didn't buy any matching thread because I just didn't. So I'm going to be using whatever light coloured thread I have, and then I do have a spool of brown thread somewhere that I think if there's any top stitching I can get out and do with that. But yeah, I just didn't think, really. I just didn't think, you know what, I've never sewn with brown before. probably don't have any brown thread. Let me know in the comments below if you randomly have thread colours or if you always have to buy thread, because for the last 6 months or so I've actually managed pretty well on, like, sometimes I just do random sort of tonal thread shops and that seems to see me through. It's quite rare I actually have to buy specific matching thread for something. So let me know in the comments below if you're the same as me, or if you're like, no, every time you buy a pattern you buy exactly the right shade of thread for it. It'll make me feel better. Or much worse if you're all like, no, what are you doing? So anyway, let's move on. Let's cut out our pattern pieces first and we'll get some dungarees made. I've cut out my pattern pieces and it's very simple. There's the front and a back basically, and then a strap piece for the loops and a couple of pocket patterns. So it's not bad at all. Having looked at it, it's really helpful. One thing I will say, so the instructions are really good, and one thing I would say which is really helpful is that they put the height of the person the pattern is drafted for. Pattern companies, if you're watching and don't do this, please do, because the thing is, I know this is drafted for someone who is 5'5". I am not, I'm 5'2". So that means I know I can take a couple of inches off it at this point. So what I've done is, to start with, what you can do is there's these length and shorten lines here. So to start with, I've taken an inch off to see how that fits against me. I don't want to take too much off until I've made them, but I'm thinking that's going to be about right. So I've made a small, I should say, which is a 37 to 39 inch hip, and I'm like a 36 to 37, so I thought, you know, it gives me, I don't want them to be tight, it's a little bit of space. And then the waist is, I think, a 28 to a 30. Again, I'm around 26, 27, so I just wanted it to be comfortable. And particularly if I'm feeling like I've got period bloat, or, you know, if I just want to be comfy and want them to be a little bit loose. Then that being said, there I can take in the waist if I want to, it's not a big issue. And then the top is, the other reason I didn't go any smaller is because the top for this size is like a 34 to 36, I think, inch bust, which is a little bit on the small side for me because I'm a 36 to a 37. So if I'd gone for a smaller waist and hip size, I would have, basically there would have been no point, it just would have sat like here. So I'm going to see how I go with the small, but I'm taking about an inch off the trousers. This is the trouser piece. Obviously it has these nice circles at the top, which I love, and they're the most accurate I've seen actually of any pattern matching across pieces. Like, these match really well. So actually, yeah, now I've seen that. I thought it looked ridiculous, but now I've seen that with like 2 to 3 inches taken off. That looks a lot better. However, I do have to remember I've also taken length off the bodice. So maybe, I think I can probably get away with taking over an inch because I know the legs will be too long. They just will be, like they always are. So I'll have a look. I'll lie on this pattern piece. It might be end up taking, so if it's 5'5", I kind of need to take 3 inches off in total for it to fit my height. So if I take an inch off the bodice and 2 inches off the legs, we should be there, we should be good. That's not to say that the legs probably won't be still too long or be other issues, but that should at least get me quite a nice loose fit, but so I'm not trailing my feet on the floor. And then I've also taken an inch off the top because I have quite a petite upper body, and this is a very long torso piece for me. So if I stand up and show you in my pyjamas, this is the top of the bodice pattern here. If I sit under my arm there, that's it down to my groin line should be here, and it's down there currently, which is roughly where my pyjamas are, but they're a very loose fit. However, if you see, the bib is actually like up by my neck. So in reality, if we think about, fold the top over for about the seam allowance, the bib's going to sit there, which is what I want, and then suddenly, oh dear, this is down here, and the groin is down by my mid-thigh, which isn't going to work. So again, we have a lovely length and shorten line. So I have taken off another inch, and already that's looking a bit better. Like, I would say this pattern is exceptionally easy to adjust. And then obviously with the straps at the top, I will then be able to adjust the bust fit as much as need be. But that's looking a lot better already. So I'm going to transfer this over to the back piece, just so obviously my pieces match on the leg and the top. And then we can cut out our fabric, I think. So let's cut out some pattern pieces and see how we go. So I've decided to do a lot of folding at once. So the first steps for this are we need to construct our loops and our straps and then also our pockets. So I've cleared a bit of space on the desk and I just got them all out. Now I need to go do some ironing, but basically we have two loops, which are I have folded in half as instructed. And we have two straps, which are obviously much longer. Probably going to have to make them a bit shorter realistically, but I'm sure we can do that a little bit later on. Because, yeah, no, they tie, so presumably I can. If not, we'll just hack a bit off the back, really. I'm not precious about these things. So, again, these are folded in half, and you actually make these the same way as you make the straps. So, I combined them into one step for this video. So what we're going to do is I'll unpin the top of one of my straps. Here we go. So I folded over the top centimetre or 3/8 of an inch. There it is. And then we fold together. What we're going to do is press this edge really firmly, and then we're going to open it out, fold these raw edges into that centre fold, and then close. Hard to do because of where my pins are. Hang on. Fold together, close, so we get a strap that's fully enclosed like this, and then we stitch down both sides. So it's not especially complicated, and I'm looking forward actually to it feels quite satisfying to just sort of have the straps done. Let me pin this back, and we make the loops exactly the same way. So I'm going to take you with me to do a little bit of ironing, and then I'll bring you back for sewing these up, and then we'll be on to the pockets. There aren't many steps. There's a lot of fiddly folding and pressing for the first bits, but then the next instructions for the dungarees seem to just be sew them together. So, it's, which is not a bad thing, just because you have 4 long pieces, front and back. I mean, I don't know what else you do with them. So that should be good fun. And this actually should be a pretty quick sew along. I'm hoping to get these done today, really. It is pocket time and we are at the ironing board. So starting with our big front pocket, here we go. Again, this is the back, this is the front and this is the back. And what we're going to do first of all is take this top edge, fold it down by 1 centimetre, and then we're going to fold it down by 1 inch to create this nice bib pocket here. So let's do that first. We're going to stitch along, and then we take each of the sides, including corners, etc., in by 1 centimetre, stitch again, make sure we top stitch lovely, and then we have a fun pocket. So there's going to be a lot of pressing and stitching, but I will try and make sure it's very clear what I'm doing. So let's get on with that. So here we are. I have some pockets that I am actually really proud of. So front and back here are, oh, look at the shape of that, that's the back. So back pockets, and then I've got another set of back pockets there, and these hopefully should be my front ones. Yes, here are my front pockets. So I'm quite chuffed with these actually, they're quite neat. I'll hold them up. And yeah, I didn't really show you guys a huge amount of what I was doing in detail because realistically I had to do the same thing 4 times. So what we did was we did that top edge, so folded under by 1 centimetre and then by 1 inch to create this nice pocket lip here, stitched along there beforehand, and then basically did a standard patch pocket, so fold under, fold under, fold under, pin on, which you saw me doing on the floor a minute ago, and then there they go, stitched on. I had my machine at a 3.5 stitch because the stitching looks a lot nicer, and also I moved my needle right over to the right hand edge so that I could position the pocket in the middle to get that kind of stability, because when I did pockets on my Eden coat I did patch pockets, well I did lined patch pockets, and I found that if I did them with the needle in the middle there was either a risk of it kind of, because of the lip of the pocket, kind of slipping out a little bit and, you know, not really getting that neat line. So that's how I've done these, and I'm really happy with the result. So I'm going to go through and snip a couple of loose threads. By the way, can I just say, I matched this thread completely by accident. So if you are using the caramel cotton twill from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, the thread number that works with it is 886. On the Gutermann thread chart, and yeah, I'm really chuffed because I didn't have the fabric with me when I bought that online. I looked at it and went, that's about right. It arrived and I went, oh no, it's wrong, and then put it on the fabric and it just disappeared, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So yeah, that's the thread colour if you need it. Well chuffed for matching my thread completely accidentally. So let's move on to attaching our front and back pieces. So we have sewn together our front pieces. What we're going to do is press this seam, but we're actually, instead of pressing it open, we're going to press it over to one side, like this, and then top stitch it down so we get that nice reinforced seam, but we also get that nice double line of stitching down the front. So I'm going to give that a really, really good press, and then, oh, it's going to be terrifying. But I'm going to very, very carefully top stitch down the whole way to do the front. Our next step after that is going to be working on the bib. We're going to be pressing the curves in at the side to create a nice clean edge. So that's the kind of armhole curve. And we'll be pressing those in next. So I'm going to do that while I'm at the ironing board, and basically in between top stitching. So you'll see that next, and then I'll explain more of what we're going to do with the bib. I tucked in the side curves, and then do you know what? I just attached the front pocket because I just thought while I was there on the ironing board pinning things, the pocket was sat there. And I like to operate when I'm sewing on a basis of the less loose bits floating around, the better. So I thought, let's pop a pocket on, and there we go. So looks kind of cute. Our next step is that we're going to turn the top over by a little bit, tuck the loops in, I think then turn it over again so that our loops are sticking out here. And then that will be us then working onto the back, I believe. And then I'll be back this evening, I think, to finish these off, actually. There's really not much more to do because all the fiddly bits pretty much have been done. So yeah, I'm really excited, but they look super fun if I hold them up. This is the front. I'm excited. I've got so many pockets. I was just saying to Adam that I have 5 pockets on these, 2 on the back and 3 on the front, which outnumbers the pockets in all my other garments by a factor of 5. Women's clothing doesn't have pockets, so I'm immensely excited by the kind of utilitarian almost nature of these dungarees. They're going to be great fun and fab for moving house. So you joined me for an evening of sewing. Last time we had the lovely front of our dungarees here with our pocket, other pockets, and I just stitched down the side edges here. Now, the first thing I did this evening was to attach the 2 back pieces, which you do in much the same way, and then top stitch them down, and there we go. I have now realised that my pockets are not even slightly level. However, as they're going to be behind me, I don't think I care immensely. I don't think it's a huge issue. And also, realistically, if anyone's remarks on it, then they really shouldn't be staring at my arse where these pockets will be. So, here we are. My next step is to fold in the edges here, stitch them down again, and then we will be doing the loops on the front. So let me quickly do these edges, catch up so I've got 2 symmetrical sides, and then we will go back to the front piece and insert the loops for our ties to go through, which is exciting, so let's do that. Also, I've just realised, sorry, the background's going to get more and more crowded in this video, this is my last ever vlog from this house, which is I'm quite emotional about, but I'm very excited. So, you know, I'm very excited for my inaugural vlog in the new house, which will be my reveal for mine and Tamlin's collaborations. That's very exciting. So yeah, I don't know, this is quite fun. Now let me quickly stitch down these sides, and then I will have the fronts and backs matching, and we can get on with it. I have folded down the very top of this is the front we're working on. I folded down the top by 1 centimetre and then by 3.5 centimetres, and our loops are going to slot under this fold here, so we've not sewn it down yet, and then we'll stitch down this top edge with our loops underneath, and we'll end up with this nice flat finish here on the front, which looks really nice. So I'm going to now pin my loops in place and stitch them on. My loops are on and I have stitched them with a box stitch. Initially I was a little bit confused because obviously you've slipped the loops in underneath, and you have to, this picture isn't shown in the pattern, so I'll show you guys. You then flip it back on itself, so this is what it looks like on the underside, and this is what it looks like on the front, which is also why the loop pieces are quite long. I'm also going to, because I left a bit too much of a lip on my front of my bib, I'm actually going to fold, this is the inside, I'm going to fold this back on itself and do like a kind of reinforcing stitch all the way along, just to again make it a little bit stronger, but that's quite sweet. So this is good. We have loops, they are reinforced and in. So the next step is to insert the straps. So what we're going to do, I'll take you over to the ironing board, we'll do the same again, where we're going to fold that centimetre, and then I think it's 3.5 on the back as well. Press that down, and then we do exactly the same as we've done here, except with the straps. So there's a raw end to our straps that we slip underneath, fold it down, sew it, and I believe we even do the same box stitch on the back to keep them in place. So let's go and do that. So we've attached our back straps in the same way we attached the front loops with this nice little cross reinforcing top stitching. I need to go through and snip a lot of ends off, but that's okay. So we have the back of this is the back of our dungarees. It's done. The front is behind me, and also done with these lovely loops. So our next and pretty much final job is to sew up our legs. So what we're going to do, so I'll do this with you, is we're going to place them face to face like this. So right side to right side, I should say. And then first of all, we're going to pin up, and we're going to do the out seam first. So the outside edge, pin there, and sew all the way down. Now I should have said earlier, this pattern I had to reset my brain a little bit, just for one tiny thing. It's been incredibly easy and I love it. But the seam allowance is 1 centimetre, not 1.5 centimetres. So that's been a little, because I keep automatically going, because 1.5 is pretty standard, so I keep automatically going to that and then going, ah, no, going, ah, no, and resetting. So it's very, very important to remember that if you are sewing these, otherwise they're going to come up a bit small. Now, I'm going to have, I think, a bit of a moment of truth when I try these on and see if the fact that I removed 3 inches has made them the right length for my legs, or if they've actually become still far too long or far too short or anything. It'll be fascinating. So I'm going to pin these up now, sew them, and then we are literally done. So just this side, the inseam, and then I can get wearing them, which is very, very exciting. They're done! Yay! They're inside out right now. I chose to French seam the outside edges, which is really exciting. So basically I was sewing them normally, and I didn't do this on camera because it was really fiddly, but basically, as you can see from my inside edge, cotton twill frays really badly. Now I didn't seam the inside edge because I didn't want to get it wrong. I've never really done an inseam this way before. But I did do the outside seam that way. I've reinforced the inside, but I'm quite happy with that as a French seam. I lost bobbin chicken, unfortunately, and I had to refill my bobbin just to do this much stitching on the bottom of my hem there, which is really annoying. But we're there, and they are wonderful, and I'm so, so excited to wear these. I'm really happy actually with the finish on them. So I'm happy with my little reinforced squares at the front. My pockets aren't entirely level, but considering I didn't measure them and kind of did it by eye, they're not horrific. And honestly, I'm so excited. And they're a functional garment. If I hold them up, there they are. Need a bit of a press at the bottom, but that's okay, because they are literally hot off the sewing machine. And yes, I am in my pyjamas. So we're there, we've got our nice straps on at the back, we've got some back pockets, 5 pockets, which is 5 more than usual, which is very exciting. I've said that before on this, but I'm so excited, honestly. The number of pockets is really selling this whole garment to me. So I'm going to go try these on, and then they are going to play a very important role in us moving house. But all that remains for me to say is thank you so much for watching. This is my last vlog for my lovely house in Surrey. We are moving to Buckinghamshire tomorrow, which is very, very exciting. But yeah, it's quite emotional. This is my last sew along vlog I will do here. And it's been a joy, and I look forward to my next vlog, which will be joining you from my new sewing space, which will be so lovely. It's still going to be a sewing space / office, but at least it won't be in the living room, so you know, I'll take that. And next month we will also be meeting my overlocker finally, yay! I'm so excited. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, you enjoyed it, give it a like, share and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. My next video coming up will be a tour of my sewing space, and following that will be a reveal of the One Fabric Two Ways project I'm doing with Tamlin from Sewn on the Time. So check out that when it comes out, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.